Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the entrepreneurship course for English major with me, Larissa Daniela. I am the lecturer of English Literature Department at Jakarta International University in Indonesia. This course will be conducted bilingually in Indonesian and in English. Okay, so we already come to the lecture 9 right now. And we have discussed, we will continue the previous discussion about business ventures in related to the English major. And the second discussion will be about English for media. So this will be the sub-chapters or subsections that we are going to discuss today. So the first one is we are going to talk about the meaning of English for media first as the introduction. And then we move on to the scope of English for media. And then we go to the ventures of English for media. And we will break down three of them one by one, starting from being a transcriptionist, being a citizen journalist, and lastly is being the entrepreneur for foreigners. So let's start with the first discussion. Okay, so meaning of English for media. So John V in 2008 stated that digital media is the system of public communication, the system of component production and distribution with the computer and network-based technologies that support the creator to make an educating and entertaining content. English works as a tool for media or non-media communication. Therefore, English communication and public speaking skills are definitely essential. The ability to communicate using using English language creates connections with a wider range of audiences. So, like media works as a platform, ya. Jadi media itu berperan sebagai platform ya, di mana aktris, aktor, penulis, writers, and even translator gitu ya, dapat menunjukkan, menampilkan bakat dan skill yang mereka punya gitu. So, kebanyakan orang yang bekerja di bidang ini, ya, di bidang media ini, tidak harus mahir dalam bahasa Inggris sebetulnya, tapi juga harus mahir dalam skill-skill spesifik tertentu yang lainnya, seperti public speaking, communication skill, um, English writing proficiency, technology, and computer skills definitely critical and analytical thinking. Jadi bukan hanya bahasa Inggris aja, begitu ya. Tapi English itu sebagai salah satu bahasa yang digunakan, terlebih lagi karena ini adalah bahasa internasional and this course is created or dedicated specifically for English major. So yes, we will discuss about that. Okay. The next one is the scope of English for media. English language acquisition. I'm sure that you have ever heard about that previously. Okay, so English language acquisition, or we know it, it is well known as its abbreviation, which is called ELA, yeah, benefits a person by creating a greater comprehension of how language works and how language is used. Moreover, media always need language to work with. Language is always being used to deliver the message of every content. Being able to speak fluently and write effectively will be very helpful for a career in media fields. So, media always need an audience. There must be a relationship between the content itself and the audience. Yeah, the audience is the people who are watching a television program or movie. Audience is also the ones who are reading the newspapers and magazines. Yeah, and then audience is also the users of the social media itself. And as a music listeners, they are the ones who buy the albums, the music albums. So make an up-to-date and attractive content that will engage the interest of an audience. They need to know that audience has selective characters. where they only want to read and watch the newest content or the one that they are just interested in. So, the media itself can be presented as an audiovisual, or even the printed ones, papers, yeah, books, what is it? Tabloid, seperti itu, ya. So most media works indirectly, such as social media influencers, transcriptionists, journalists, writers, publishers, and many others. While for direct, only a few jobs, such as radio herald, presenter, interpreter. Okay, so media also deals with technologies. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you know exactly that nowadays everything is going online and digital, especially during this pandemic situation. So we really have to be familiar with the technology. We have to engage ourselves with the current technology. So it is essential to develop your technology skills. Yeah, social media influencers, for example, they have to work with a computer to edit, to create an attractive videos or photos. Or another example is a journalist who has to work with a camera to cap a picture of some cases or some phenomena, then master the Microsoft Office, Excels, publishers, what is it? What else? PowerPoint, yes, to create professional papers. Okay. So the scope of English for media is actually very wide ya. Jadi scope-nya English for media itu termasuk sangat luas. Terlebih lagi sekarang. Kalau dulu mungkin hanya ada media cetak, tapi sekarang media digital itu banyak sekali, sangat banyak gitu. So we can be familiar, we can be specifically choose one or two medias to start our business gitu ya. Uh, Bahkan bisnis apapun yang dimulai itu pasti membutuhkan media sebagai salah satu marketing strateginya gitu. Salah satu cara untuk memasarkan produknya gitu ya. Kita butuh media itu sendiri apapun bisnisnya. Nah, kalau misalnya kita pakai English for media, ya we can start with a specific media. Nanti kita bisa pilih salah satu. Okay, so now we move to the ventures of English for media. There are three types of jobs or businesses ideas in terms of services that we can work with as an entrepreneur of media fields. Yeah, so we will specifically discuss these three ventures as an examples. So the first one is as the transcriber or transcriptionist, and the second is as a citizen journalist, and lastly is as the interpreters for foreigners. Okay, so let's say that we are the Indonesian, yeah. I am the Indonesian, so I become the interpreter for the foreigners. Okay, so let's discuss them one by one. The first one, transcriptionist. Yeah, a general transcriptionist is in charge of documenting and converting voice recordings, listening to audio such as interviews, notes, messages, or even movies. Yeah, and then converting it into written documents. Yeah, if it is movies, then you transcribe it into the subtitle of the movie itself. Yeah. If it is an interview, then you transcribe it as a text. Yeah. So that's actually part of the job. Transcriptionists typically have a strong grammar, yeah, strong spelling, and a strong listening skills as well, because he has to listen it very carefully. The accuracy is definitely has to be very good, and also yeah, we have to be very familiar with the play and pause button because once you listen, yeah, you have to transcribe it and that kind of thing. Okay, you have to also be familiar and mastering the punctuation skills as well as the fast word per minute typing speed, as I said earlier. All right, so Um, According to the source that I got, there are several skills, basic skills that a transcriptionist require. The first one is excellent typing. As a transcriptionist, they need to be very excellent typist. While the audio played, the transcriptionist has to type what the speakers say. Not only have to type fast, but the accuracy of the language being translated have to be with a very correct spelling, meaning that this excellent typing skill must be mastering the typing speed and the language text accuracy. Okay, so the second one is computer skills. Transcriber, yeah, or transcriptionist must have a high comfort level navigation computer and software skills. Transcribing audio into a text need the help of a computer in typing the language. Besides, typing the transcription is needs to make the text tidy and easy to read or to understand. Sometimes the audio that a client need is put on the website or put in some sources. Then you have to be familiar with the computer skills, because without the computer skills, a transcriptionist won't be able to translate or even to open the file. Yeah. Okay, the next one is fluency in the language being typed. A transcriptionist usually face a number of challenges during the course of their day. Not being fluent in the language they are typing in should not be one of them. Fluency helps transcriptionists use contextual and grammatical clues to make better choices of words or phrases that may be unclear in the audio files. If the audio has some words which are not clear, the language fluency, which are not clear, then the language fluency can helpful for that case. If the transcriptionist is not fluent in the language being translated, then the meaning of the content might be translated incorrectly. Okay. So mastering the idioms is also important, especially when it comes to the English language. Translate an idiom might be one of the hardest challenge. That is why fluency skill is needed to be professional transcriptionist. Okay, the next one is excellent grammar and spelling. A core skill of a transcriptionist is the ability to spell and to write properly. Transcriptionists often have to correct grammatically incorrect language when transcribing. In addition, each word must be spelled properly and correct punctuation must be used. As an English major student, it is very essential to learn about grammar and spelling from the very first semester. The course of grammar is very impactful to this job. As a transcriptionist, there will be various kinds of audio that should be translated. The use of language found in the audio might be wrong sometimes, but the transcriptionists have to be able to translate it correctly. Still, the spoken language and the written language somehow could be different. Spoken language does not always follow the rule of writing or like the correct sentence structure as it is supposed to be. So, like where to stop, where to put the comma, where to start the new topic. A spoken way might randomly spoken, but transcriptionists have to be able to understand the content and the message of the audio. Okay, the next one or the last one is exceptional editing. It is important that transcriptionists can edit during the online transcription process. Not every conversation, interview, or dictation will be recorded using the proper grammar. The transcriptionist must be capable of editing audio so that it becomes readable when transformed into a written document. Oke, um, saya akan cerita sedikit soal ini ya, pengalaman pribadi sebetulnya. It's my personal experience. When I was in the, I forget, second year, maybe, yeah, second or third year of my bachelor degree at that time, this is actually my part-time job. So, with my friends, yeah, of course, not me alone. Waktu itu mahasiswa di angkatan saya dan di jurusan saya, sebenarnya dari senior saya juga gitu ya. Itu salah satu pekerjaan, sebagai part-time yang sering kita lakukan, itu adalah sebagai translator, dan sebagai, transcriber atau sebagai transcriptionist seperti ini, gitu. Dan biasanya film, gitu ya. Jadi film-film dari luar negeri yang mau diputar di Indonesia, itu biasanya butuh penerjemah gitu. Nah, kalau dulu kan tidak ada seperti sekarang ya, like, there was no Netflix, there was no Disney, Hotstar, there wasn't such a platform like that or such website like that. Pada waktu itu websitenya yang bajakan gitu ya, if you know that. Jadi, biasanya kami diminta diminta untuk mentranslate, film-film berbahasa Inggris ke bahasa Indonesia, gitu. Untuk akhirnya dimainkan ke website-website yang seperti itu, gitu. Jadi satu film biasanya dikerjakan oleh, 2 sampai 3 orang. Nah, deadline-nya itu biasanya hanya beberapa hari, like 3 days to 4 days gitu ya, untuk translate itu. Nah, waktu itu tuh jadi pekerjaan, sampingan kita untuk dapat uang jajan tambahan gitu. Awalnya sulit ya, awalnya sulit untuk mentranskrip film karena waktu itu kemampuan bahasa Inggris pun juga belum sebagus sekarang. Tapi that's actually, a very good, what is it ya, practical experience. Karena dari situ, we are like learning by doing gitu. Jadi sekali mendengarkan, 2 kali mendengarkan seperti itu. Coba ditulis lagi, di-transcribe lagi, nanti, kayaknya bukan ini, sepertinya ini, and then we look up dictionaries at that time gitu ya. Jadi kita mengerjakannya di sela-sela jam kuliah gitu ya. Dan 3 orang ini kadang juga nanti kalau misalnya sudah selesai, sebagian, itu duduk bersama untuk discuss lagi gitu. Oh, gimana hasil translate-nya? Oh, ini konteksnya ini belum. So we communicate each other, to have the same perception, to have the same thought about the context of this movie gitu. Sehingga hasil terjemahannya, dari menit awal sampai tengah sampai akhir itu sama walaupun dikerjakan oleh 3 orang yang berbeda. So this is actually a very good business, a very good venture that a, English literature student can do. Gitu ya, even from the second year as I did at that time when I was your age. Okay, so the second venture or the second business that you can try related to English for media is becoming a citizen journalist. Okay, so creating your own website and social media as a place to write and present the latest news is an opportunity for citizen journal writer to start a career. Ya, seperti ini. Contohnya di Indonesia, ya. In Indonesia itself, there is a website called detik.com. I'm pretty sure all the Indonesian are familiar with this website, but for those who are coming from the other countries, we can call it like, what is it? Example, yeah. It's like an online, not just newspaper actually, but yeah, this is even way more update than a newspaper because it is called detik.com, yeah, which means second.com. Detik means second. Jadi setiap detik gitu ya, itu selalu ada berita baru yang terupdate begitu ya. So this site is a collection of the latest news pages that are usually read by Indonesian people. Ya, dan sudah ada apa namanya aplikasinya sendiri juga ya di handphone yang bisa diinstal gitu. Saya sendiri juga punya, jadi setiap kali saya mau tahu berita terbaru ya I just need to open it every time I want to see the most update news, happening in Indonesia or even in the world gitu. Okay, so the website not only presents a piece of news as you may see in the picture on the page right here, okay, but it also has some advertisement from the other companies, from, yeah, a lot of advertisements put here. Working collaborations like this, yeah, by appealing companies' advertisement will produce money to the website, to the company, to the tick.com. So one of the requirements for the news to have many readers is to follow the latest trends. Yes, definitely. The trend of young people, the most updated one, the currently happening, yeah, in our society. Or it could be also the international news that is being discussed by many countries. For example, like the war between Russia and Ukraine at that time, the updates of the pandemic situation, or what's going on now is the presidential election in several countries. Okay. After getting enough readers, we can start working with some products or some companies to display their advertisements on our website. Gitu. Jadi kita bisa membuat yang semacam ini. Of course, it requires a lot of process. Like you needed to have a very good programmer, yeah, um, back end and front end engineer for this website, and then a good content creator for this. Jadi tapi untuk apa namanya, mahasiswa dengan background sastra Inggris sendiri atau background bahasa Inggris sendiri, Anda bisa mulai dengan blog misalnya gitu ya, bisa mengawali untuk mengumpulkan dulu konten-kontennya dengan blog sebelum akhirnya Anda membuat website yang seperti ini gitu ya. After writing some news as the entrepreneurs, we can start to try to find the clients who are willing to pay the article publishers or even write articles to promote merchandises. One example is Scarlett. I believe that Indonesian people are familiar with this. It's actually a local beauty product in Indonesia that is currently trending. So writing news is not only a phenomenon, but writing reviews or product promotions is also very interesting for the readers. Okay, so um, one of the requirements for the news to have many readers is to follow the latest trends. The trend of young people, the hits young people, or it could be the international news that is being discussed by many countries. Okay. For example, like the war between Russia and Ukraine. After getting enough readers, we can start working with some products to display their advertisement and websites. So, as I mentioned earlier about the war of Russia and Ukraine, we can find some publishers as our client who will pay our news article, but we have to write a very high quality news with some facts. Yeah, reliable facts, definitely, to make sure the client buzz and further the client would buy. And furthermore, we can collaborate with them to make another journal. After writing some news as entrepreneurs, we can start to find the clients who are willing to pay for article publishings or even write articles to promote their merchandise. Okay, so the example is like Scarlett, as I mentioned earlier. Writing news, we can write some reviews about their product and ask them to make an advertisement in our platform or our website. Another trick is that you can show them how many people who already read our journal articles. By seeing how many visitors or readers, you can like enhance the quality and the selling points of the website that you created. Begitu ya. Okay. The last one is interpreter, being an interpreter or a translator or proofreader. Yeah, being an interpreter actually for the foreigners. But first, we have to know, previously we already discussed about translator and proofreader in the previous chapter. Ya, kita sudah bahas translator apa, proofreader apa, perbedaannya bagaimana. Nah, sekarang ada lagi yang namanya interpreter. Apa sih bedanya interpreter dengan translator dan proofreader yang sebelumnya kita sudah bahas? Okay, so interpreters work with the spoken word, converting speech. Wait a minute. Okay, so yep. So interpreters work with the spoken word, converting speech from one language to another. And this is far more than just being fluent in two languages. Wait a minute. Okay. I'm sorry for the problem. Okay, so interpreters work with the spoken word, converting speech from one language to another. This is far more than just being fluent in two languages. The interpreter must also convey the speaker's style and tone while accounting for cultural, dialect, and setting differences. The speaker's style, the interpreted message should be heard by the listeners as if it had been spoken in their native language. The proofreader checks the spelling, punctuation, grammar of a document, reviewing the syntax and ensuring that there are no unintended mistakes that were overlooked or unnoticed during the editing process. So while the talking is done by the interpreters, translators work with the written word, converting text from one language to another. This is far more than just simply substituting one word for another. The translator must also convey the text style, the tone, and the intent while accounting for cultural and dialect differences. The finished document should often read as if it were written in the target language for the target audience. However, this is not always the case. Highly specialized content may necessitate the translator retaining cultural elements from the source language in the target language translation. A professional translator will be aware of the best approach for the translation. Okay, so now we go to the required skills of becoming an interpreter for the foreigners. The first one is that you have to understand the cultural aspect. Begin by becoming acquainted with the origins and cultures of your target languages for the interpretation. It helps the interpreters to understand the culture differences and special meanings by using cultural references. Okay. Understanding the cultural environment is essential for interpreting success. We might be able to translate jokes if we understand the culture. Yeah. Ini seringkali jadi yang paling sulit ya untuk menjadi interpreter ketika Anda harus menginterpret atau mentranslate certain jokes from different cultures and different countries. Karena mungkin joke itu lucu di negara itu karena relate sama society-nya, sama culture-nya. Tapi tidak relate dengan negara yang lain gitu. Jadi misalnya translate joke orang Filipina ke Indonesia, mungkin kita nggak akan terlalu paham itu maksudnya apa gitu. So menjadi interpreter, apalagi ini harus direct ya. I mean, you don't have much time to think about, to have, what enough time to prepare yourself to as a kalau translator kan mungkin masih bisa browsing dulu gitu ya. Tapi kalau interpreter tidak, karena lebih direct sifatnya gitu. Jadi memang harus well experience sih gitu ya. Mmm, Anda harus sering-sering belajar dan paham. Jadi ketika you want to be an interpreter for someone, it's good for you to research that person first gitu. Yang mau ditranslate apa, yang mau diinterpret topiknya apa, tentang apa, atau orang ini dari mana dan sebagainya. So it's definitely important to know about your client and their background. Jadi Anda bisa research dulu sebelumnya. Okay, so jokes that are funny for the speaker may not be funny for the audience. For example, if the speaker from Indonesia tells a joke about skin color to an audience from the United States, it may be amusing in Indonesian, but not in the United States itself. So, as an interpreter, you must be able to think of the other jokes that might be amusing based on the American culture. Okay, so the second skill is the vocabulary skill. If you want to keep improving your interpreting skills, you should keep expanding your vocabulary. Similarly, thinking you understand a language completely and have no room to grow would be a huge mistake. When you are not practicing vocabulary, you can work on linguistic nuances to improve your interpreting skills. To be effective in both languages, however, you must consistently study vocabulary in both. It is especially important when translating official documents verbally, such as legal proceedings or courtroom interpretation. Okay, the third skill is the listening skill. Listening skills are more important than any other skills in this field of interpretation. If you cannot pay attention to every detail on the job, you will run into roadblocks and have to deal with unhappy customers all the time. And I believe that you don't want that, right? So, interpreters should be able to recognize every single word in the context. It is not enough to understand the meaning of the words, you must also understand their intent and purpose. If you do not listen and follow the conversation well, you will quickly fall into trap of becoming a bad interpreter. It would be beneficial if you practice continuously in order to improve your professional abilities as an interpreter. Okay, the next skill is speaking and communication skills. Effective public speaking skills can help with a career in interpretation. Right after hearing, you have to deliver the message directly or simultaneously. Speaking skill will help you in communicating and delivering the message of the speaker in a correct way. And lastly is the memorizing skills. In consecutive interpreting, you are required to hear several complete sentences in one source language before the speaker stops to allow the interpreter to provide an interpretation in a target language. This type of interpretation makes to memorize what the speaker says correctly and then translate it into the target language. If you forget what the speaker has just said, it will make a problem for your performance, or you will not be able to translate it completely. Ya, jadi punya memorizing skill itu penting gitu. Setidaknya apa ya? You can focus in the certain sentences that he or she just spoken. Seperti itu. Okay, so um, let's see. The next one is the seeking an interpreter job opportunity, yeah, or business opportunity. So setelah kita sudah tahu tadi ya skill apa sih yang dibutuhkan sebagai interpreter. Nah, sekarang di mana sih opportunity-nya gitu ya untuk anak English major gitu untuk bisa menjadi interpreter. Nah, there are three here. The first one is industrial city, the next one is tourism destination, and government conference. It doesn't have to be government, actually. Bisa any kinds of conferences, ya, bisa conference apa aja. Okay, let's discuss the first one, industrial city. If we are talking specifically about Jakarta International University, I mean our university, um, it is located in Cikarang, right? And we all know that Cikarang is one of the biggest industrial cities in Indonesia. This is the city where JIU is located and surrounded by a lot of national and international companies. Gitu. So this is actually a very good opportunity for English major students here. Yeah. So if you want to start your business in this field, you can find a company who needs this kind of interpreter. Dan ini sebetulnya sudah sering terjadi. Saya sudah pernah dihubungi ya oleh beberapa HRD dari perusahaan yang membutuhkan interpreter gitu sebagai penerjemah karena mereka ada klien yang dari luar negeri yang harus presentasi di sini dan merasa perlu interpreter supaya audiens yang ikut meetingnya mengerti apa yang mereka sampaikan begitu, oke? So I'm pretty sure that there must be some companies who need to make a collaboration for any kinds of purposes with the other companies as well. So selling and offering our interpretation skills might be the best way to work with the company. Mastering another language is also very helpful, yeah. As one of company may collaborate with various international companies. Jadi kalau di Cikarang ini banyak kan perusahaan Korea, Jepang, begitu ya. So not only English, if you can master other languages like Japanese or Korean, that would be a huge plus for you. Yeah. Okay. And then the second opportunity is the tourism destination. The most famous one from Indonesia that everyone in the world know is Bali. Ya, tapi sebenarnya nggak hanya, it's not just Bali. We have a lot of destination, tourism destination yang juga bagus di Indonesia. Nah, so yeah, okay, let's discuss Bali. Yeah, that's the simplest one because everyone knows that Bali is one of the most famous tourist destinations in the world. A lot of people from different countries come with various purposes. It could be for vacation, yeah. And if it is for vacation, you can help them to communicate with the local people. Gitu. Biasanya mereka butuh tour guide seperti itu kan. So butuh interpreter itu penting. Atau biasanya untuk business trip. Yeah, so if it is for the business trip, um, making like an investment, yeah, in some tourist destination, but do not want to communicate or build the relation. Yeah, yeah, Anda bisa menawarkan diri atau you can start this interpreting business gitu ya untuk tourism destination, which means your English in tourism or in hospitality itu harus sangat oke gitu ketika mau mulai sebagai interpreter di dunia tourism gitu atau di bidang tourism. Okay, and lastly is the government conference or conference apapun gitu ya. A country always work with other countries and mostly English is used as the language of instruction. Yeah, as the standard language of instruction. Yeah. So government conferences such as presidential meeting or like a focus group discussion gitu ya, seminars, that kind of thing, uh, need an interpreter to communicate because they usually invite foreign speakers, yeah, as the guest speaker. So, or in a big conference with a lot of people, interpreter is essential to deliver the message well. Gitu. Jadi penting atau in terms of Christianity world or in Christianity worldview itu juga translator seringkali digunakan untuk translate khotbah pastor gitu ya, dari bahasa Inggris ke bahasa Indonesia atau sebaliknya dari bahasa Indonesia ke bahasa Inggris gitu. Jadi academic conferences juga itu seringkali tapi kalau academic conferences biasanya kan sudah pakai, bahasa Inggris ya sebagai bahasa pengantar dasar. Tapi untuk mereka yang tidak bisa berbahasa Inggris dari, negara lain, so if you are able to use you are familiar with the other languages as well, that would be very beneficial to start your career or your business as an entrepreneur. Okay, so I guess this would be all for now. Yes, so that would be all our discussion about English for media. Hope this could be it give you some enlightenments to start your business in this field. Yeah, either to become transcriptionist or citizen journalist or even as the interpreter for the foreigners. Okay, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. So this is all for today. Thank you for your attention and see you in the next chapter. Goodbye.